This is your math gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic. This is part 5 of Vector Basics, and we're going to do vector addition. So here we have two vectors. Vector A is the green one. Now there's an initial and a terminal, or an ending point. The end is where the arrow is, right? So it starts here and it ends there. Some people call that the initial and the terminal. Some people call this the tip of the arrow, so that's the tip and this is the tail, but I've heard other words too. But I think initial and terminal, we could all agree. We start here and end here. And then the same thing for B. We've got, here's our initial point and our terminal point. So here's how you do vector addition. You start with your first, so let's say we wanted to know what A plus B look like. Okay, so the question is, what does that look like? Well, it's another vector. When you're adding two vectors, you get another vector, similar to when you add two numbers, you get another number. Okay, so we're going to learn how to add two vectors. Step 1, you're going to draw the first vector. So that's A right here. And I'm just going to free hand draw it, so it's not going to be exactly perfect. So let's say A will be right here. So here's my starting point, and so far I'm here. Now, this is how far I've gone so far. When I said I want to add B, I want to add B to where I am so far. I'm going to add B onto A. So I take the end point of A, and I'm going to put on B. All right, so here's B. So I have to take the starting point of B and put it at the end point of A. So I've got to go, looks like it's something like this. So you see I've started, I drew A, then off of that, I drew B. And your answer is you take your original starting point, which is right down here, right? And I draw an arrow to my very end point. So it's sort of like the beginning of A and it ends at the end of B. And that is the vector A plus B. This is the graphical representation. We can also use components. I'm going to do that in another video. So we have vector A plus vector B. That's how you get it. Start with A, to that add on B. Now let's go ahead and do B plus A. All right, curious what that looks like? So that means we want to start with B. Okay, so I'm going to start with B. I'll just put it right here. Okay, so there's B. So here's my beginning point, and I end up right here. And then to that, I'm going to add on A. All right, so I have to take my A, right, where A starts, I put it at where A ends. I'm sorry, I'm getting confused here. That's B. Where B ends, I'm going to add on A. So then I put the beginning of A at the end of B here. I'm going to draw that vector. Let me use green so it's going to clear. So there's A. So this time I start with B and then I add on A, and then we draw from the beginning to the very end. Here's where I began, this is where I ended, and that is A plus B. Let's compare the two vectors. They're exactly the same. So it didn't matter if I did A plus B or I did B plus A. So vector addition happens to be commutative, just like with numbers. So we just found out that if you take two vectors, we observed this, it's not like a proof or anything, vector A plus vector B is the same thing as vector B plus vector A. So that's all there is to vector addition. All right, what if I wanted to add three vectors together? Well, we start with the first vector. At the end of that, we draw the second vector. At the end of that, we draw the third vector. And then we'll get our resultant, our final vector. So why don't you try this on your own? Try three vectors that kind of look like this and see what you get. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to start off with C. Looks like it's something like this. Then to that I'm going to add D, which looks like it's about like that. And then E looks like it's going straight up from there. So here's my starting point. Here's my ending point. And so that right here should be my vector C plus D plus E. I'm not going to do it, but if you actually switch these around to do D first or E first, any order, you're going to get the same final answer, which looks approximately how I've drawn it right here. So that's the graphical representation of what it means to add two vectors or more together. This is your Math Gal, Julie Harland. Please visit my website at yourmathgal.com, where all of my videos are organized by topic.